season of Finext is the future of payments, innovations in open banking transactions. It has been a hot subject of debate. There have been lots of questions about open banking. We'll try to address most of them through this elite panel that's going to be up here. The moderator for the panel is the CEO and founder of PayModem, bringing you over a decade of experience in payments industry, having worked with Visa, Trustly, and Novi. Since founding PayModem in 2020, he has built a global payment platform supporting 250 plus methods, helping merchants expand, optimize conversions, and drive revenue through a single API. So ladies and gentlemen, the moderator for this panel is Mr. Jake Dovey. So put your hands together for Mr. Jake. Thank you so much, Mr. Jake, and sorry to make you wait. That's all right. So next up on the panel was supposed to be Mr. Tariq Al-Suwaidi. If he joins, once he joins, if at all, then we are going to introduce him in detail. But the first member of the panel that I'm going to invite here is someone, I think he gave a session yesterday, and everyone was talking about it. Everyone was really interested in that session. He is the founder of Humexid and co-founder of Trendly and Trustbreed. He's a digital transformation expert driving innovation in fintech and technology with a background in leading Nigerian banks. He specializes in human-centered design to create impactful, inclusive financial solutions across Africa. Yesterday, I was not able to take his name because of the pronunciation, but today, I'm going to be spot on, I hope. It's Mr. Demilare Oduesu. No, I can't do it. Odueso. I did it this time. Well done. Well done for bearing with me, by the way. Yeah. So the next panel member on this session is a first-generation entrepreneur and a seasoned purchasing and supply chain specialist with more than 12 years of expertise in cost optimization and process improvements. He has led multi-million-dollar savings and implemented ERP solutions like SAP and Microsoft Dynamics across various industries. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mr. Pankaj Kumar Singh. Also, fun fact about Mr. Pankaj, he has a lot of questions. There hasn't been a single panel he hasn't asked a question. That's what's, and you know, being inquisitive, I think, is the best way to learn. So, well done, Mr. Pankaj. Next up in the panel, we have the co-founder and managing partner of Toothpick, a strategic leader with expertise in project management, corporate structuring, and team building. With experience at JLL and Rees & Sommer, he now drives Toothpick's expansion in the UAE and KSA, shaping its growth in the MENA healthcare tech industry. So put your hands together for Sari Azakir. Thank you so much, Mr. Sari Azakir. And last but not the least on the panel is the founder and CEO of Tectum. He has pioneered the world's fastest Layer 1 blockchain, achieving 3.5 million transactions per second. That's massive. His leadership drives Tectum's innovations and scalability, including SoftNote, cementing his status as a blockchain thought leader featured at global events. And, you know, apart from all this, the coat that he's wearing is absolutely rocking. So put your hands together for Mr. Alexander Gusev. Thank you so much, Mr. Gusev. I'm going to hand it over to our moderator, Mr. Jake Dovey. Please take it over, sir.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Hi there, everyone. So today's panel, we originally were supposed to have Tariq from the Ministry of Finance, who was really going to be kicking things off and providing a bit of introduction about the open banking framework that came out in the UAE in 2024. In the meantime, we're just going to have to quickly fill in as we go, so you're going to have to bear with us a little bit as we're sort of free soloing this a little bit right now. What we're going to do is just have a quick introduction of some of the panel members and really how they are innovating around the open banking framework today. So Sari, who is with us from Toothpick, he is operating across sort of 5 regions in MENA, and certainly operating an incredibly interesting business, which is a super app designed for clinics and those in sort of the medical world for being able to power sort of open banking and importantly sort of open financing decisions. So Sarah, if you could sort of kick things off and really provide us with an introduction where sort of open banking sort of meets your business and what you are driving and generating.
Sure. Thank you for the invitation, first of all. It's a long day, so we'll do it as productive as we can. So, as you said already, Toothpick has built an ecosystem where we are partnering up with more than 50 fintechs in the region. So, our main consumers are technically 2 splits. We focus on the patients, and we focus as well on the clinics. So, from the patient's perspective, we have built a super app for the clinic where we have integrated a lot of payment providers, a lot of buy now, pay later providers as well, to allow patients to pay their out-of-pocket treatments via Toothpick/ToothPay, which is the service of Toothpick. So here I would like to let's say emphasize on the importance of partnership and collaboration as such, because we have I think we were the first partners from buy now, pay later tycoons in the region here, where we feel that if we create a synergy where we have a specific objective together, then we can technically use our strength towards the ecosystem. So we have integrated with the buy now, pay later providers, we have integrated with payment link providers as well to treat more the, let's say, funneled, tailored treatment plans towards patients. In terms of open banking, because you know that you have certain gaps. So if a patient, example, you would like to obtain for a treatment and it is outside of the pocket, let's say he will then have a specific cap from buy now, pay later. Then we have further expanded this to micro lending companies to not only have a cap here in the region, it will be around $3,000. In Saudi, it's even less. Then to provide this options more. Then we were trying to integrate banks. So if you want to integrate banks, we were trying to talk to them, I think, since 2023 or 24, before the open banking topic as such, which was more a trend now and towards a direction. And it was very complicated to explain to them that they can tailor a finance product directly to a specific consumer side. Because of the barrier of language, because of the traditional ways they were doing the previous businesses. So here, because of the open banking and collaboration as well, so we are what we are trying to do is from the patient perspective, that the patient can go inside the clinic, he can directly have an embed finance product from the bank, directly to apply it from the ecosystem which we have tailored to his treatment plan, to see a lot of options from banks, to apply for this loan and then to, let's say, start a treatment where the bank then transfers it directly towards clinics, similar to capital way of financing there. So that's what we are trying to do from the open banking perspective in the healthcare ecosystem. Further as well now with the payment initiation service, which will go live in Saudi and in UAE here. I think now it is live even here, where we will then integrate pay by bank directly towards the patient. From the clinic perspective, to shorten it as well, because we have created a closed loop where we can let the clinic apply for an SME loan to then buy their supply chain, which is linked to our marketplace as well. So there we are seeing a huge challenge by the industries that usually distributors are giving specific credit lines towards the clinic, where they're not supposed to do it because they have to focus on their on their core business. So we saw that it is super important to integrate as well SME lending companies or even banks inside that ecosystem to create a full flow between the patient finance, the patient payment solutions, and the SME lending side.
Wow, that's that's awesome.
Yeah, it's quite of a structure.
The first time I was on stage was in 2018 when in Europe we had a framework called PSD2, and the rollout of PSD2 has taken literally years. So I can only hope that the rollout of all of these APIs for both AIS services and PIS services can be a little bit faster than what we experienced. Damileri, what I'd like to sort of speak to you about is Damileri is working on basically a financing project locally in Nigeria. He has a totally different approach to issuing and allowing access to credit in Nigeria. So he's scoring and scoping people not just on sort of traditional financial data, but actually on sort of a character-based reference. So I'm really keen to really find out what you're doing day to day in terms of where you're accessing data and whether or not you have any access to open banking APIs in Nigeria, and really what you're using to generate these outcomes for you as a lender.
Hi everyone, hello again. Okay, so at Currently we're transforming credit scoring and lending generally in Nigeria and Africa. Our goal, right, is to enhance financial inclusion by moving away from traditional financial data, to a more enhanced, holistic and robust character-based credit scoring or credit risk models. Of course, what this means is that we have to get as much data, from everywhere, plug into as many systems as possible. And one of the key systems we plug, or one of the key infrastructure we leverage, is open banking, right? So we connect to financial institutions to get data, right, on customers' transaction, income profiling. So we use, AIS, account information system, to get this in an ethical way, right? Secure, of course, with the customer's consent, essentially. So we have an understanding of the transaction history, the spending pattern, the income profile. We also plug into credit bureaus, right, to also get insight into the credit history. But layered on top of that, we have some sort of risk management or risk profiling system that looks at your location, what is going on your phone, and compare this data to profile you risk-wise.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I have to announce that Mr. Tariq Al-Suwaidi is finally here. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. He's going to join the panel right away. Thank you so much, Mr. Tariq Al-Suwaidi, for making it here. Just in time, in fact, I might add. Please take it over again.
Okay, thank you. And welcome, Tariq. Anyways, so we, get all this, and on top of that, we then have our own proprietary psychometric analysis that looks at the personality of the individual and then how trustworthy they can be to make credit decisions. So when it comes to open banking, I said we use AIS. We also use PIS, Payment Initiation System, that allows us, of course, with disbursement and repayment, basically. So our focus essentially and our drive is, of course, if you understand emerging markets, like I said yesterday, very few people have access to credit opportunities. And that is not their fault, right? Just because we don't have enough data, right, to profile people. So our goal is to enhance access to credit, right, on one side for the people. We also have a duty to protect financial institutions, right, by ensuring that they make smarter lending decisions, build a healthy loan portfolio, and ultimately, we are committed to driving NPLs. In Africa and emerging markets, NPLs are crazy right now, right? Banks are discouraged even from lending. In our own market, the economic issues, basically is affecting a lot of people. But what we've seen with our system is a very low NPL so far with our partners, less than 2%, like I mentioned yesterday. So we are rethinking and doing something differently, but of course, leveraging the open banking framework. Of course, in Nigeria, the Central Bank of Nigeria launched a new framework in 2023, which we are aligned to. Of course, data privacy, NDPR, which is Nigeria, and GDPR we're also compliant and ensuring that information is shared in a very secure manner. Of course, all this is made possible with the customer's consent.
Amazing. That was really interesting. I had no idea that Nigeria had an AIS framework already in place. Tarek, it'd be great to sort of bring you in, and thank you so much for being able to join us. We've really sort of covered what Sari's been up to already across sort of the MENA region, but predominantly in UAE. I was really keen to sort of hear what you get up to on a day-to-day basis and how you're aligning to the UAE Vision 2031, and certainly where open banking comes into that with what you're doing at the Ministry of Finance.
All right, thank you so much, Jake, and thank you for everybody to be here. First of all, I'd like to all welcome you here in the UAE. I think most of you, or some of you, are not resident of the UAE, so we welcome you on behalf of everybody. And I'd like to say at the beginning of the session itself that the topic is very exciting, and we always try to identify that financial innovation is not a luxury anymore, it's a necessity. And for us, we have different goals here in the UAE. So one of them, as Jake has just mentioned, the 2031 vision. So basically what it says that we want to double the GDP size. So imagine coming out of the COVID pandemic, most of the countries want to go back to the rates and the growth rate that they used to have before the pandemic itself. Over here in the UAE, we said no, we want to double the actual GDP. Not only that, we also want to reach different sizes for different economic activities, such as doubling the industrial size, so almost 150 billion dirhams in our currency, to reach 300 billion for only the industrial sector by itself by 2031. Also, we want to we want to increase the export for the non-oil exports here in the UAE to reach 800 billion dirhams as well. So you can see that we have different goals for the economy, and we can't achieve that without having financial innovation. And that's where we come in. I would like to discuss two main initiatives for us here at the Ministry of Economy, since I'm part of the Ministry of Economy, as well as the Central Bank of the UAE. So for us, from the Central or the Ministry of Economy, I think there was two main policies that have actually incentivized the financial sector as a whole and the GDP. The first one that comes up to my mind is that 2020, as we call it, the company law. For the first time, at least in the MENA region, we had the opportunity for non-nationals to own all of their businesses 100%. Of course, giving it's not for all the sectors, but for the major sectors that are within the economy. So as a non-national here in the UAE, you could actually, for the first time, own your whole business 100% without any national, participating in the business itself. So that have contributed a lot in the number of, establishment here in Dubai and the UAE. As well as the second major initiative is having so I mentioned the ownership as well as the golden visa. So that was the first here in the MENA region as well when we introduced it just after the COVID pandemic. These two initiatives by the Ministry of Economy have attracted a lot of high net worth individuals. In 2023, imagine, for a small country as the UAE, we were the second among the top countries for attracting the high net worth individuals. That was in 2023. In 2024, we were the first. And imagine the second country was America, and the number of the people of the high net worth individuals almost double the number of the ones that were attracted in America. So almost 6,700 for the UAE and 3,800 for the States, only for 2024. For 2025, I think we'll be definitely in the top ranking. So, given that there's a lot of money flow coming over here, there's a lot of talent is attracted over here, and there's a lot of businesses open up every day here in the UAE. Our minister, the Minister of Economy, was in Davos a few days ago, and one of the things that he mentioned is that my goal was to open almost 1 million, or to have a total of 1 million establishment here in the UAE for 2031. We already achieved that. So he was saying that we have to double our goal right now. What I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of going on here in the UAE, and there's a lot of businesses going on, and there's a lot of funds coming to the country itself. And all of that requires us to have innovation in financial sector. What we used to think in the past of having instant payment, of having loans that is issued in the same day, that was unimaginable and maybe science fiction. It's a reality at the moment, and we take it for granted, but this wasn't even imaginable a few years ago. And with the upcoming financial innovation that's happening right now in the UAE, and I'm sure the panelists have spoken about it, this is going to enhance the overall growth of the economy of the UAE. So we're very proud of having different kind of innovative, manners here in the UAE in terms of finance, and we are supportive of these kind of innovation means. I want to also mention two initiatives that is issued by the central bank, but we, as the Ministry of Economy, are supporting it. One of it is the Open Finance Achievement, or Open Finance Incentive. Basically, what it says that all of the API of the people that are living here in the UAE is within the central bank itself, and the transaction of the data is transformed from the banks to the central bank safely. So as a bank, I don't need to know all of the information of my clients, but I could get the minimum requirement, such as the credit score and all of that. So that kind of information is transformed safely between the different clients of the banks and different financial institutions. What's going to happen? I think that banks will be forced to adapt new initiatives in terms of financial innovation. That's one. And the second is there's a chance for the financial institution or the fintechs to grow in the upcoming years. Also, the insurance companies has to adapt to all of these, innovative manners. So that's one thing. What am I going to benefit as a client, as a consumer, and all of you over here? I think there's going to be a very competitive financial sector here in the UAE for the established financial institution, as well as the upcoming financial fintechs. And that will include different products or financial products for all of us as a consumer and as clients, as well as there's going to be a kind of ease of funding small businesses. So we're very concerned about this here in the UAE. We want to promote financial products for the SMEs over here. And having very innovative financial products will help all of these businesses grow, and the overall economy is going to grow and be sustainable in the upcoming years. So we're very lucky to be here in the UAE, and we hope all of the entrepreneurs will take the chance and the opportunity to grow with us here in the UAE.
Thank you so much, Tariq. That's incredibly interesting. Yeah, we experienced something very similar in Europe when we rolled out all of the APIs. So I totally take it for granted now to making instant payments, getting instant credit decisions, whether that be a credit card, a loan, maybe even sort of insurance for my pet, which was done through an open banking API the other day. So yeah, it's fantastic that this is all being rolled out. Pankaj, it'd be great to sort of hear your input, and as a consultant, really, what areas you're seeing as investment opportunities, whether that be sort of M&A, VC, private equity, etc., in the region of UAE and certainly in the open banking sort of area.
First of all, thank you, Hello. So thank you, Finext, for having me here, and good evening, everyone. Let's start from idea of PCS means how it's born actually. So if you see the revolution of the last 100 years of any business worldwide global economy, there is always a big four and some big investment banker. So I always used to think for a big company, there is always big player, big four. Why not the small startup and SMB segment? There is such companies or holistic picture. So that's what came in 7 years back. So when I started saying, okay, I'm creating a big four culture for a startup and SME segment. So people laugh at me. But the four companies have never laughed at me. One is a World Bank, second is startup Techstar from USA, then Queen City Fintech, North Carolina, and there is a brand called Your Story, Shraddha Sharma. So they believe, Pankaj, you have created something very unique for the world, and that journey started. My first raise was a $10,000. Recently, I raised a $150–60 million plus for a US tech company. So idea is very simple. You create such a product and solution, so there will be big impact on the society. So if you consider the more, if you go the global economy wise, so every country has a more than 30 to 40% contribution from SMB and the startup segment. When you say startup, it is a recent story of 10–20 years only, 2 decades. So that's a bigger chunk of the area which is called as unserved or underserved. So we as a PCS, very close voice worldwide to have an impact on, from smallest company to, we never even think of one day Big Four will come to us and have tie-up with us. So that's a small journey. We'll let us share more story. So this is not only for MENA or India, it is applicable everywhere in the world, because without funds, you cannot grow beyond your imagination or your check with your hidden potentials. The beauty of VC fund is like when you have a big target, so there is a limitation of bank money. I mean, there is a limitation. But the beauty of VC fund, you can design your success in your 5x, 2x, 10x. That's the part. So where we play a role. So we'll share later on all this.
Love it. Amazing. Alex, we're moving on to you as the final speaker from the panel. Alex has been operating sort of locally in the UAE with Tectum. He's trying to bring something I think that's pretty cool to the market, which is basically splitting up the blockchain and getting it to manage very high volume packets of data very quickly. So the biggest problem you have with sort of Bitcoin today is that it can manage only 9 transactions a second, which a lot of people don't actually know. Whereas his proposal is that he's going to be able to handle 3.5 million transactions a second and effectively provide a layer. And he also wants to bring cash to the masses via crypto. And so, Alex, it'd be great to hear from you and sort of what you're doing in the region.
Thank you for having me here, Jake. Thank you, everybody. Tectum and its product, SoftNode. As Tariq righteously said, it is not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Financial institutions will have to adapt or die. And SoftNode is here to do just that. At Tectum, we believe that you cannot expect doing the same thing, expecting different result. The experience of Lightning Network has proven that using legacy technology to solve legacy technology problem is not solving a problem. It's a definition of insanity. And when we invented SoftNode, we realized that SoftNode really is not a blockchain product. It doesn't have to be but it should be to prove legacy of Bitcoin and the scalability thereof. So when we looked at the entire thing and we realized that we can basically digitize the entire mass of legacy assets in a split of a second, we realized that we need open banking, we need PayFi as an image, and we need to merge. Our mission really is transformed into marrying crypto and fiat. Our slogan for a long time has been taking crypto to the streets. Why? Because that's what SoftNote really is. It's a piece of paper. However, if we look at SoftNote and softnotization of current asset mass, and if we listen to the interview of Larry Fint, who said, literally like a couple of weeks ago, he said that all assets will be tokenized within the next few years. We asked ourselves a question: what are we really doing? And the answer came instantly. Tokenization is when you take paper assets digital, when you digitize what's paper. SoftNote does exactly the same, but in reverse. It's taking digital assets back to paper. Now, what we're doing then, are we reversing the evolution of assets? Or maybe we are granting the opportunity to those 3, 4, or 5 billion of unbanked people to finally use digital assets in the shape or form, in the form factor they used to. SoftNote integrated digital world back into the paper world we're so used to. And it interconnected the paper back into digital. It's so tightly and closely and flawlessly integrated that you can literally scan this thing and 30 seconds later it will become a crypto balance in your wallet, and you can do it vice versa. So now that we're looking at this inevitable open banking evolution we've been talking about, and we understand that we need each other. The systems really need each other. And that's pretty much it. Thank you, Jake.
Thank you. Amazing. Thank you very much, guys. I just want to quickly summarize. So everything that's been discussed today is already out there. It's already being used. So the future, the title of this panel is The Future, and if I'm being totally honest, the future is already here. There's some tinkering to do along the way, and obviously mass market adoption to then take place, but a lot of these things are already out there, and you're going to be seeing a lot more of these products. So the next time you go into the dental clinic, it's probably going to be powered by Sari and Toothpick, or the next time somebody's applying for a loan in Nigeria, they're going to be able to get an instant open banking sort of access alongside a character score. So yeah, thank you so much. And
if you want
handing
a small thing, Jake,
back over.
I would like to touch point on the points which the two gentlemen has said in terms of that the innovation is there, but it will come. But what we have experienced that we have to try to expedite it a little bit. And if I see it from a perspective of a local bank, doing a lot of, let's say, conversations and talking with banks for integrating their products into our ecosystem, we have seen that there is a need of resources, maybe, to have really from the management of the bank or from a main objective of an usual traditional institutional bank, to have a full department dedicated with KPIs set to say, hey, you have to do those objectives in the next year or two, because we see that the government is doing great in terms of putting a framework there. But from the bank's perspective, you have the full digital innovative ones, which are maybe the early adopters for the first 10%. But to really expedite this as well, I think that from a management, from a bank's perspective, it should be set, maybe even incentivized from a form. That is as well something which I wanted to share, because we have seen those challenges. The framework is there, the future will be there. To really expedite this is really to dig more into the depth of it, and it will just happen with a proper infrastructure inside of those institutions, and maybe with a small incentive, if that works. I'm not sure how exactly that would work, but yeah, that's a point which I wanted to share. And from the SME lending part as well, that to bring more awareness that the SMEs, they can go to banks to provide shorter term loans, longer term loans, but that the bank is not the usual traditional the institutions which they have a certain fear. That's what we are seeing as well with the clinics, that they do not like to go to banks to get a short loan or an SME, because they are used to get it from their suppliers, which they can extend. So I think the awareness part from the SME is important, and from a banks as well. Just sharing some thoughts.
Sorry. Amazing. Thank you so much, guys. Does anybody have any questions? The gentleman with the glasses. There's a few, actually. Sorry.
It's not a question, just a remark about the traditional culture, because I'm from a bank and you guys are tech and the innovative gurus. I would like to request to see the data regarding the SMEs and the default ratios worldwide of the SMEs. The bigger banks gone bad. Rather innovation, along with the risk innovation, I recommend to go for. UAE is a classic example where the documentation is so strong, where this type of incidents rarely happen. But the other markets where there are so many scars on my back as a banker here, right? So decision making is very simple, innovation is very good. Giving money to SME is not that simple. Thank you very much.
Does anyone have a take up on that?
Do you know who that was for? The question? Was it to all of us?
This remark was for someone particular, or do you want someone to answer?
So in summary...
Yeah, sure. Yes, you are super right, and that's where my first part was in terms of collaboration and partnerships, because we can very easily share data points of those SMEs based on our consumers, based on the consumer of the SMEs, that the banks / SME short loan providers can then loan it. So I feel through the open finance and this initiative from sharing complete data, I think it will enhance, inshallah, in the future.
Just adding on the same point, I mean, in open banking systems, a lot of fintech companies now tie up with the mother bank and creating value in the SMB or SME sectors by giving data point and taking risks. What bank cannot take risks? These fintech are taking risks, like fintechs and other like Paytm and all the other fintech boys. That's all.
I don't want it to be a discussion, though. It was supposed to be a question.
Yeah, and again, I would like to recommend you to go back to the data, especially Indian market, what happened with the fintechs without regulations. So I really thankful for UAE government here to provide a regulatory framework for fintech and the innovative solutions. Therefore, I said, here is a market where we can play. But the markets which are not regulated are not really easy to play. That is my request. Thank you very much.
I'll just one request. I mean, there is open data on a UPI website. Probably world biggest data in terms of per day transaction is the highest in the world. So I'll request you to refer that data.
Exactly what I didn't want to happen. Exactly what I didn't want to happen. That is exactly what I was saying.
Refer the Paytm case study where the people money, and thank you again UAE government here, where they gave us the regulations for virtual assets, where you cannot touch the money of people. In case of Paytm, where the money of a people was into the virtual account to pay some amount, and the money was there, and it was touched by the organization. I'm just trying to say, whatever innovation we are working, we should be bit conservative to support people money not to gone out. Thank you.
Please don't comment on that. I'm just kidding. Any more questions? Does someone want to take up a question? Last chance. All right, I think they are good. So, there's one more. There you go.
Yeah, I have a question to Alex Gusiv. Alex, please show it one more time your soft note, because so I like it very much. So show it and how it works, please. Little bit more, because it's absolutely unique instrument.
It's actually just a web page. It's a web page dedicated to one individual digital wallet, and the way it's designed, right now you can see Bitcoin wallet, but it can be digital dirham. We're actually working on this right now as we speak. And when we connect those two, we will be able to marry fiat and crypto. That is our goal, because until these two frameworks, fiat framework and the crypto framework, are disconnected by legislation, regulatory scrutiny, or technological bottlenecks, system will not mass adopt. We can blame everything on Bitcoin fees and Bitcoin network latency, but the bottom line is that our biggest enemy is biggest enemy of mass adoption is capital circumvention. Until government can clearly see that I am paying my $1 million for this particular real estate, and I'm paying my 4%, government will be concerned by how I spend my money. So the delicate balance between what we in decentralized finance called anonymity and what traditional trade finance calls transparency must be found and cultivated, and we believe that this is a soft node. The soft node has found that delicate balance between two worlds. Thank you.
Thank you so much. If there are no more questions or discussions, then we can end this panel. Jake, I'd like you to conclude it finally. So if you want to say anything at the conclusion.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be up on stage with everyone today, especially you, Tarek, for giving up some of your time from the government to come and join us. And yeah, it's been a great conference, so thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Let's hear it for the panel.